bunch of losers sweating caught on the worst.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chillcast. We're your hosts, Joey Rucker.
And Brent Murphy.
Welcome back, chat, to another chill week with your boys.
You know, I'm not going to lie. Right as we started that, I thought you were going to say we're your host, Brent Murphy, because we've started so many times with me. But yeah, dude, we're back with another episode. We're back with another late night sesh, and we're here to dive into all those juicy topics that we have no idea what they are.
But we promise they're juicy.
They are juicy. We will come up with them in time as we talk right now. So,
how's your week been? Actually, before I ask you how your week's been, let's talk about how happy we were with the last episode.
Yes, dude. Honestly, what makes a hero? Honestly, it was my hero of an episode. It was.
I really enjoyed it. Like to actually have our own space for the first time that like genuinely is our space, because we've done the studio episode, but that's going somewhere where we have to use other people's equipment and we have to use someone else's room, so it's not always guaranteed when we can and can't go. But now that we have this space, as you guys saw, I don't know if we really touched on it too much. I think we tried to keep it a little vague in the last episode.
It was a little low key.
But yeah, we definitely have a new space now, and we're super happy with it. I'm super happy with it. I don't know if
I'm very happy with it. It has been a long time coming to where we had a space where we didn't need to tear down and set up everything within the same night, you know, or day. Most of the time it's night though, because we are not ahead of schedule enough to record during the day. So. But no, dude, I'm just super thankful, and I just think we're blessed to have a space where we can come together and really make it our own, and just make it the cabin for all of chat,
Absolutely.
Listening. So anytime we refer to the cabin,
you'll know
the cabin.
This is the spot.
This is the spot.
And honestly, the Woodsman podcast has been getting really a lot better in not just like production. Obviously we've talked about that a lot, but it's actually picking up, like people are starting to follow the pages, people are starting to engage and interact, and it's really cool to see like people actually like noticing us, even if it's just like people we know so far. It's like it's cool.
It's honestly crazy what you can do in just a certain amount of time you set aside to do something good, and when you set aside that time and you grind, week after week, you start to really see progress. And I just think that's where we're at right now. And I'm super, couldn't be happier with just what we're doing right now.
Same.
In this time.
It's literally like what we said in the last episode, or the Stan Lee quote or whatever, that, you're not going to, if you have an idea that you think is great, go for it, or else you'll never know if it was, actually worth it or not. And we're actually doing it. We don't know if this is going to pay off in the long run, but we're doing it. We're making sure that we stick to our goals and stick to all of our plans and deadlines. And I think it's really paying off, showing how our hard work is actually, going somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think after a long time of just talking about this being something we really wanted to do and we really wanted to pursue, I just think we've finally gotten to a spot now where we can benefit from the fruits of our very long hours of labor,
2023, honestly, looking back, I really enjoyed some of the episodes that we made, but in the long run, it's kind of like there's a certain part of me that is a bit disappointed. Not in like us saying we're going to do something and then we don't, but more like we had all these goals and expectations for ourselves, and then we made all these plans, and then like a lot of people and like us a lot of times, we just didn't follow through. We just didn't make sure that we actually sacrificed the hours. Because like you said, we do this a lot at night, mainly because we're just both so busy lately, and we don't have time to do it in the morning or on weekends, just because we're always like, this is what we can afford to do. But actually doing it, it's already making me love 2024. 2024, honestly seems like a great year, and it's only February.
Yeah, it just seems like I think we're at a point now. I think we're just at a level of professional, equipment, and I think we're at a point in our lives where we really want to make it professional and we want to make it something real for people.
We're taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's not just one of those sit down, talk about whatever, and then just wish it to happen. Like we're out here, we're at a dedicated studio every single week trying to put out content. What people don't know is behind the scenes, we're out here really, we probably spend almost every day working on something for the podcast. I mean, there's never a downtime, at least for me. I don't know if it is for you, but it's like, I come home from work and I'll sit down for like 4 hours on something,
Oh, yeah. I've spent far too many hours on some of the episodes that we've done just to make sure it looks pretty and that we were happy with it. But it helps that this is lagging, but it helps that this is also in both forms of audio and visual equipment and technology, that this is what we love to do.
Yeah.
Like it's so perfect to do a podcast with each other, with the fact that you've been into audio your entire life, and my entire life I've been into video. Like we kind of grew up on this. You were just telling me off air that, you started getting into music and instruments when you were like 8 years old, and ever since then you've stuck to it, and it's just always been your passion, and now it's grown into audio equipment, and you're still doing music to this day. And like when I was 13, I think, when I made my first video ever. Well, if you don't count the 1999 video, but we don't need to talk about that. But
the 1999 video.
You don't remember that one? That's the one where I'm like a kid and I have the Wolverine claws.
Oh,
and I'm like,
yes,
these
yes,
claws
yes.
are worth only 19. I was like trying to make an infomercial for these claws that I owned.
I mean, if I would have seen your commercial on TV, I would have bought them.
I appreciate that, but I wouldn't have, because it's just like I don't need to go into detail. If you want to find it, go look. Maybe I'll put it on the channel one day.
You should put a link in the description.
I'll post 1999 on Piemaster J, and then I'll throw it in the description here. So if you don't see it yet, it's just because it's not posted. If you come back at some point, it'll be in the description. But
it'll be there eventually.
No, but seriously, like we've grown up with both these platforms, and now to be able to combine our efforts and our passions into something that we're also very passionate about. It's honestly, it brings a tear to my eye, man.
No, like it really is so cool to work on a project with someone you've known for so long, and you guys have, always had something good to say, or always something good as far as a conversation. I think we've always tried to spark really meaningful conversations just off of camera and off of mic. I mean, we've had some pretty insane...
We've had some deep talks in our life.
Yeah. And I think... just taking that love of bonding together as people and just bringing it into something that could possibly quite well end up as a professional, avenue is just something very, very rewarding.
You said something in, I want to say it was the Christmas episode. Shout out, go check that out. It doesn't have enough views for how much we tried on that one.
Yeah,
so
come on, guys.
You know
how long we took writing "Twas the Night" before Christmas.
Please go give that video some love, if any of them. But
yeah, just send us a like on any video.
Have we received a like yet?
No.
Nah.
But we haven't received a dislike yet.
We haven't received a dislike, and we have been growing in subscribers. I think and
in listeners.
Yeah, and in listeners. But no, anyway, what I was going to say was, you said in that Christmas episode, it was really good what you said, if I could remember it now. We went off track, and now
we digress here.
Well, I lost it. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it back up. But,
okay, for sure.
What were we talking about? We're both passionate.
No, I mean, overall, I just think we are both just really happy with the content we have been putting out lately, and we've been just really grateful for the people who have been listening. Again, we don't even know who's listening, whether or not they're people we know, whether or not they're actual fans, but from the bottom of our
we
heart,
love all of you.
we're just thankful that you're listening.
Yeah.
So,
Because it's almost coming back to me.
oh,
Yes, I remember now. Because what you said was that your goal, or you thought that a goal that we should try and strive for, is that by 2 years down the line, 3 years, it would be cool to be able to do this full time.
yeah.
And I don't think that when we recorded that episode, when you said it, I was like, like I want to do that, obviously, because you joked about how I could quit my job, and it's all fun and games when you talk about it. But in all reality, hearing that, I'm like, well, it's a cool idea, but I've been trying to do the social influencer my whole life, and it's just never taken off. But seeing the progression of this podcast, I am starting to think that like within a couple years, if we really do stick to this like we are now, we could make it, that far at some point. That would be like the dream, obviously.
Yeah, and I think everybody's goal when they start a podcast is to end up like a Joe Rogan or end up like, one of their favorite podcasters. And I think the problem with that is that you're kind of setting yourself up to fail because you're not setting a realistic goal within yourself. Bottom line is, we're not professional comedians.
No, we're not.
We've not sat there, gone to improv classes. We have not sat there and have bombed in front of hundreds of thousands of people. We're just not on that level, and we're not in that arena. But I think for people who aren't in that arena, we're doing a pretty good job
think so too.
Of just doing something.
Yeah. Not everybody has the equipment and the strive that we do, and I think that combined makes us already not like top dogs of our level of podcasting, but like definitely like I think we're proving that we want to do that. Like we're serious about this.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that we're doing it all ourselves. I mean, some people who watch the podcast, they can see by just observing. I mean, you're doing all of our camera switching. I'm doing all of our audio.
Yeah.
We're both editing all of our own stuff. We're both doing all of our own socials. We're doing all of our own everything.
Yeah.
On top of you have a full-time job. I have 2 part-time jobs. We're on our own wave, and yet we're still finding time.
And a lot of people,
make it
that
work.
would be a reason why most people would like kind of probably quit, I would imagine, because it's just, we would be lying if we said that this is easy. Like, at least I think so.
I've lost sleep over this
I've definitely
podcast.
lost sleep.
And not even like in editing, just in like, damn, are we really going to get this released in enough time?
That's what I was going to say, dude. Like the amount of episodes, we don't even have that many episodes, but the amount of episodes we've already made that like we barely got in on time is unbelievable. But,
I mean, I was editing on my birthday. So like,
yeah, dude.
That just shows like the level of, I would say, commitment for both of us, just on like, this is something we really want to do. This is something we're really passionate about. It's something that we think could go far. And
yeah, I don't think either of us would be doing this if we didn't think that you guys would enjoy it too. Wouldn't enjoy it too.
Yeah. Because if I thought like, oh, we're just out here rambling and no one's gonna get anything out of it, then there's no point in even doing it. You know, like I mean, we could just sit here and have the same exact conversation at any time by ourselves in the comfort of our own homes, instead of having to drive out to a studio and set up everything and have cables not work like we just went through tonight. And,
tradition holds up, Chad. If you were wondering, every episode something doesn't work, and today it was cables again. So.
Yep. But hey, at least it wasn't microphones.
Yeah, dude, I'm so sick and tired of thinking that, like, because for half a second when this piece here, I know, chat, you can't see it, but the XLR that connects to my mic, for half a second I thought it was my mic again that was not working, and I was
always you.
It's my fault. No, but. You were saying a second ago that, obviously we're not comedians. And we also said that we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think they would enjoy it. I was gonna ask, do you personally actually consider yourself to be objectively, even if it's minorly, do you think you're objectively funny?
I think I'm freaking hilarious.
Yeah?
No, actually,
No?
I
'Cause
don't
here's
know.
the thing. I think both of us have a certain level that we definitely are funnier than the average Joe. And I'm not
Okay.
talking about me, Joe. I'm talking you know?
No, I think we're pretty good with our quips. I think
You're right, we're not Joe Rogan, but I do think we have something to offer. in our
especially
humor.
for someone who we have not studied comedy. The only studying we've done is watching. That is what
comedy.
we've done.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if I could say we are objectively funny, but I do think we get quite a bit of laughs from all the homies. So
Yep,
I
think so
do
too.
I do believe we have something there.
Something
You
in
know?
episode 1 made my mom laugh really hard. She even texted me today at work about it, and I was just like, I totally forgot I said it. And this wasn't me trying to be funny. This was me being a dumbass. In episode 1, not the OGs, but episode 1 of The Woodsman, I had made the statement, stepping on marbles. And what I had meant to say, because you had corrected me in the episode, was
Instead of walking on eggshells.
My mom texted me today and was like, stepping on marbles. That's my new favorite catchphrase. I'm going to be saying that. I was like, dude, I don't even remember saying that, but
You're
that
like,
is the stupidest thing I've ever said.
Where did you hear that from, Mom?
Dude, how did I even come up with stepping on marbles?
How did I come up with a slab of meat?
Slab of meat was so funny, dude.
I mean, yeah, I just think that we somehow come up with really out of pocket funny things, like for no reason. Like it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we can't script it. That's the thing that pisses me off the most is that like we come up with really good things.
Oh my God.
And
There's
then
so
when
many...
we try and script something funny, it's like
yeah.
instant
Dude,
crickets.
I
like,
think you are more naturally non-purposefully funny, if that makes sense. Like you'll
Really?
when you're not ready to be funny, you sometimes say the funniest I have ever heard. Like the Brogert comment was like I was so caught off guard. When you were like, how does it feel to have a dad? I was, dude, in the slab of meat, you're right. Like, I'm telling you, man, there are some things you say where I'm just like not ready for it. And
it comes straight off the dome, dude. Like
Yeah.
one may call it gifted, one may call it autism, but
I hate that when I laugh, you can hear my chair bounce. Oh
but
my
I mean,
God.
my hopes are up, dude.
I didn't know you were acoustic. That's
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, Joey, I play acoustic.
Oh yeah,
That's
my bad.
That's different, buddy. That's different. I'm just built different.
Built different. Dude, I know you're not supposed to say this word anymore, so forgive me, chat. Maybe I'll bleep it. I don't know, but
Whoa, bro.
I haven't even said it yet.
Sorry, I was just getting ready.
I had to set up a student today at work so that she could give a speech. And basically, she just records the speech on some topic, and then that video gets uploaded to the school's system, and then other students can view it if they need to know about slides and stuff. Pretty simple.
What was it that I have a dream speech?
No, it's some speech on something medical. I don't know. Every time it's different.
Oh, okay, got it.
But she caught me off guard today because we were trying to set up the Zoom, and she had to have a very specific Zoom link that she could use to get in. And I guess I had sent that Zoom link to the wrong email, so then I had to resend it to her. And when everything was kind of going faulty, but we're slowly fixing it, I was like, yeah, sorry that, everything's kind of going bad. And she says, oh, no, it's totally fine. Like, some things are just retarded. You can never. And I was just like,
You're like, oh, we're still using that word.
We're still using
Okay,
that word. I
okay.
thought that was kind of on the hush hush lately, like. And
I mean, hey, man, you gotta love people who are just okay with with the old, jokes, man.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Sorry, I know I sounded like I just had a freaking brain aneurysm right now. I was trying to formulate my sentences, but nah, dude. I mean, I just think the world has become too soft, man.
Oh, I agree.
I don't know. I think there were some things that no one would really get offended over, and it wasn't until a whole bunch of I'm sorry, but white Karens really kind of got involved, and they decided they were going to be offended for everybody. And then
Oh my God!
why?
I was in a situation the other day with a Karen. Not me specifically, but I was
Oh.
there when it was happening.
And you were just like,
I've never seen it happen before. It was at Chipotle. I was just getting lunch from work.
if any food chain is going to go through a Karen, it's going to be Chipotle.
It's gonna be Chipotle.
And I mean, Chipotle's fire though.
Dude, it wasn't even like I understand.
I'd be a
what
Karen
happened.
over Chipotle.
It was that they gave the person pork and that they had some kind of medical issue with that kind of substance and meat. It wasn't even like a Seventh-day Adventist thing where, you're not really supposed to go towards pork. It was literally that the person that she was ordering for, I think a husband of some kind or something, they physically couldn't eat it. It wasn't good for their system. But she was just sitting there, man, and going off on this person, this nice, sweet lady, just taking it.
And she's just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll make you another bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't understand about Karens is most of the time the receiver of a Karen is so polite and calm and just okay, let's fix the problem. But Karen's just
they're just going at it for no reason.
So weird, dude.
I don't get it either. I mean, I have never really fully understand the whole. I mean, I guess I understand people getting angry about things that you should, I guess, get angry about. Or at least it's more understandable being angry over something like that, but it's over food?
Yeah.
And
she's offering to make you a new one. Why do you have to be so mad?
Well, and it's places like McDonald's and everything too. First of all, if you go to McDonald's, you should expect your order to be wrong.
Definitely.
Always. I've never gone to McDonald's and have had someone say my food came out right. Never. And it's honestly my fault if I don't check the food and it's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why we just somehow blame fast food workers for things that happen that are really out of their control. First of all, if you've never worked fast food, which I also haven't, but I can understand the concept of if you have a drive-through line and you have 60 people going through the drive-through all at once, you're bound to not get the lineup right with the cars. You're just not. And that's not even the person's fault. That is just... There's just no way.
Is your current job the first food-related job you've had?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've done... I did the kitchen at my first job at the church, but then my first real food job where it was all me was the gelato place, kind of... Similar to you, where you're just serving a bunch of people throughout the day.
Yeah.
And people I've always said that I respect the hell out of food service people, garbage people. People. These are jobs that people you said, people give so much crap to these people. This is so generic saying people all the time. But people are
individuals.
Individuals get so angry at people for messing up their orders and stuff like that. And it's dude, do you realize how sucky of a job this is? To be stuck in a kitchen all day long, sweaty, smells like grease all day, and you're having to serve your jackass.
On top of that, not only being in the surroundings, but you have other responsibilities too. If you're closing, you have to clean.
Yeah.
You have to do.
When I worked the kitchen, I had to clean some grills and all the dude, that is the worst job. Cleaning grease out of a grill at the end of the day.
I couldn't imagine. I literally could not imagine, and that has given me so much more respect for people who are in the fast food industry. Now, do I think minimum wage should be up to $20? Probably not. But at the same time, I can't blame y'all because
Yeah.
I mean, things just keep getting more expensive. Sooner or later, these burgers are going to be priced at $15 to $20.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm paying an hour of my life that I'll never get back for a hamburger, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so crazy to me.
Did you see the post? I don't know how true it is, but I saw a post that said that Donald Trump said if he gets elected during this upcoming election, that gas prices will be below $2 again.
That's wild. I mean, I don't know how you make a promise like that because I
either.
don't know how you're supposed to make that work.
Neither
But I mean, it's
it's a
the same
nice-
thing with the student loan forgiveness thing that Biden was talking about too. I mean, it's like, yeah, it sounds nice. Yeah, everybody probably wants that. But tell me how you're gonna do that, because I
Where's the
just
money
don't.
coming
I
from?
just don't
Yeah.
see how that works. And it's like, what, you're gonna forgive all of the student loans just for us to pay it back in taxes? Like
Yeah.
that just doesn't
Yeah.
sound. That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right to me. I don't know, man.
Is it weird to you, like, having all these, like, positions and opinions on topics like these now that we're older, now that we're, like, 23, 24? Because back in the day, we didn't have this problem. Like, we were kids. I mean, we were kids very recently compared
Yeah.
to others. And I hate that this is actually our problem now.
I just think that I think it has been our problem for a really long time, but I think you just don't realize how much of a problem it is until it's getting taken out of your money.
We were just, like, oblivious to it before.
Yeah, I really do agree with the, from 0 to 17, you have the free subscription to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you hit 18, you just got to pay for everything,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
start to realize, like, man, dude, life ain't free and I don't like it. Can I unsubscribe?
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, because we live in such a capitalistic world where we will never get out of it, we're just, I guess, doomed to repeat the cycle until some crazy thing like a civil war happens and we reset. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if you've heard all this stuff with Texas, but
Texas.
there's a whole bunch of stuff with that a whole bunch of states are backing them on like border issues and stuff.
Oh.
Apparently, like the United States was trying to say that Texas had to open their borders more for like Mexico and all that kind of
Really?
stuff. And Texas said nah. Like legitimately, like
As
said
Texas would do.
said nah. And there are like 20 plus states backing them and sending them like support and troops. Like people are saying like, oh, this is like the start of another civil war because it's Texas basically going against the government and saying like, nah, we're not doing this. Like, yeah, it's apparently,
I
it's
haven't heard of
apparently
that
like
yet.
a big thing right now.
Wow.
That's happening. I really don't know much of
Yeah.
what's happening now, but yeah, I saw one post and I was like on Instagram or something and I was like, that's not real. And I looked it up. Apparently it's very real. It's like apparently a really big thing happening right now. But no one's
Wow.
talking about it. No one's talking about
I
it.
haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So could be seeing another civil war before GTA 6, dude.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
that before we die, like let's say, the rapture never happens, or not never happens, but we don't live to see it, or whatever it's called. But do you think that if we don't make it to that and we just live out our lives until we die, do you think that we might hit a World War III before we kick the bucket? Is it
Yeah,
kick
that's
the
a-
can or kick the bucket?
I mean, I think it's both. I think it's interchangeable for both. That's a good question. I honestly have no idea.
Because we've gotten close a few times.
We've gotten close. I think something will probably happen where a country maybe releases like something nuclear. And I think everyone else is going to be like, all right, well, if we're avoiding peace treaties on nuclear warfare, I guess we'll do it too. And the world will probably just destroy itself. I mean, as sad as that sounds, I mean, we're moving towards
very valid.
we're
outcome.
moving towards it. It doesn't say that a whole group of people ain't gonna be, taken out before the rapture. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe
what do
maybe
you
we're
think,
definitely
Jack?
not the ones to see it.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just doomed to die. And
Do you think, speaking of the rapture, I've had this thought in my life before. I don't know if you've had it too, but do you think every generation has thought that they were the generation to live to see it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I think all these church folk and everything, and I could say that being in church, I just think it's kind of ridiculous thinking that, oh, this is it. This is the end times. This is it. For I would say hundreds of thousands of years, because if you believe the earth is less than 1,000,000 years old, it's a little weird. I mean, just due to science and everything. But I just think it's very funny that there are people who act like, oh, we're the most important, so therefore we have to be the ones getting, saved, quote unquote, from whatever's happening. But look at all these fools in history that have gone through way more crazy things than we ever have in our entire life, and they didn't get saved from anything. So I personally don't agree with that statement. I think, yeah, are there things that could be seen as like, oh, here are signs for the end time? Yeah, for sure. But I think every single generation ever
Has
can
had
say that.
different pieces of those signs.
Yeah. So I personally don't think we are going to be the ones to see anything wild, but yeah, I do think we maybe have had signs of things happening, but I would not waste my breath, to be honest.
It's weird. It's like, to me, every year that passes, I feel like, obviously we've talked about how every year seems to go faster, but it's weird because I also kind of feel like lately, it almost feels like, yes, every year seems to go faster, but like almost like our lives lately are starting to just hit that, like, this is it. This is what you get for pretty much a while, and that kind of makes it seem slower. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
I think we,
Like, I feel like life is going a little slower right now, even though it's going super fast, just because we're sort of in a standstill on where we're at in life.
well, I think it's like that just because we kind of get lazy with where we're at. I think we kind of, if you land your first full-time job, you realize, man, I don't have to stress about finding a full-time job anymore.
Yeah.
Your whole life built up to that moment from leaving college to entering the workforce is just, I got to find something. I got to find something. I got to find something. And then you finally find that, and then you get stuck. That's it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, I'm content because I like my job. I'm content with where I'm at because I don't have any problems now that I'm making full-time money. And you get sucked into that void that a capitalistic society gives you. I mean, they're telling you, hey, you're making enough money to live your life, and that's fine. And you kind of just get stuck in a cycle of a never-ending pattern of repeating yourself. And I think we all kind of get in that situation, and that's why I think the homesteading movement is definitely a move. People being willing to get out of the system, get a group of friends together, buy land, and just live, a different way, And I know we've talked about it off a mic many times. That's why you chuckle, because I've definitely I'm that guy. I would love to be that guy, but I just think we have put so much purpose on our lives for doing things of no value at all. I think back, sadly, the hunter-gatherer times and everything, we talk about like, oh, I really want my Wi-Fi. I really want all of these accommodations and everything. But people back then lived longer because they were doing things that made sense. What are you going to do 40 years of your life you're behind a computer screen? Like, okay, what value does that add to your life? Besides, oh, well, I got my tasks done and I made money for it.
Well, you can't dog on it too much because it does allow us to do what we're doing right now.
No, I'm not dogging on it at all. But I'm saying like
that it plays into it.
That versus I'm going to build my house today.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a completely different thought process. And I think now, because we have so many options for careers, we have so many options for education, we have so many options for even people who want to go into the service and, serve their country. There's just so many options now for people that we're making jobs that really aren't even needed to sustain that and to sustain that need, because we have set up a system based on you can't own a home.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy land. You can't do any of these things without reaching a goal set by a government that has never had to worry about those specific issues. Personally, I just think people in power or authority take away their check and see how much they work for the people versus them working for themselves. We have created a system so backwards on like helping people, and like, what do we just need to do to help ourselves, that we have just created a never ending loop of, complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, we kind of, it slows down even though you're doing a lot. And we feel like, hey, I never have time to do anything fun anymore, or I never have time to be a kid. Well, you don't have time to be a kid because you're slaving away for something that really has no value other than you getting paid for it.
It's true. No, I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think that's actually something I've been struggling with because, and I talked to you once at your house, off air, obviously, but I talked to you once at your house about how I've been in this weird funk lately. It's not like super bad. I've had way worse funks,
Oh, yeah, we all.
but ironically, like it's a funk where I almost miss the bad eras. Like I've almost been missing the drama and I've been missing the depression, as weird as that sounds. But the reason is because, then I had something to think about.
You
I had
miss feeling something.
Yeah, I miss feeling something because right now, like you said, this like void that we get stuck in with our jobs and our lives and having to do the same thing day in and day out. It's like, no, I'm not sad, and yeah, I am happy with my job. It's like it's exactly what you said, but um, doing it every day, you just do fall into this loop that you can't really escape, and it's like back in the time where we were going through so much drama with our friends and worrying about our deadlines at school and all this stuff. It was like, well, like I had to think about something. I couldn't even worry about today because I was always worried about tomorrow. And now it's like tomorrow, yesterday, today, it's all covered because it's always the same.
Because
And
you have a schedule to abide by,
yeah.
and you don't have to leave that. You don't have to deviate from that anymore.
And I don't know if that makes me a crazy person to say that I miss the bad stuff, because obviously I obviously do miss the happy times too. Like there were so many good moments in college, and like cliff jumping and going to Vegas out of nowhere. And I miss high school. Like I miss doing like guys nights and just hanging out and like doing stupid wacky stuff. But I also miss like those nights where I couldn't sleep and I would just choose to walk out on the streets at 3 a.m. because like I was going through the motions and
You just miss feeling something other
yeah,
than
and it's like
stuck.
yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I just feel stuck, and it's not bad, but it's not good.
Well, I mean, like, just take a simple thing that we both know because we both would do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how little we've gone to places like Heart Rock. Think of how little we've been out in nature ever since, and I, like, trust, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but ever since you got a job, I
It's
mean,
been
we don't
yeah.
do that. We don't do that anymore. The times we really, really see each other is doing things like this, editing or getting ready for a next show or,
Mm-hmm.
prepping. But we don't really have those times anymore where it's like, hey, you want to go on a hike today?
Yeah.
It, let's go. Like we just had so many opportunities where we were able to just go out and live and like be within life in
And
general.
it's such a double-edged sword too, because like you're right that even though you're stuck in this place where you're only living to make the money so you can survive, the money also does help with things that I love. We just, I mentioned it on the last episode that we just were able to afford the body for the camera that we're going to start using for the podcast. And that is so cool. Like my whole life, ever since I started on YouTube back in 2014, I've wanted a real camera. And I've had cameras throughout the years, but not like a professional camera, you know? And so to finally be able to say at 23 that I got my first one, it's so cool to think about. But it's like, all right, I got it. Now what? I go back to work.
Now I got to pay it off.
Yeah, now I got to go back and make the money back that I just totally wasted.
Yeah. No, it's a never-ending cycle, and I could say the same thing for me. I mean, like you know, we've talked many a times outside of the podcast. All I've wanted since I was probably like 18 was a motorcycle. And, you know, you spend all your time saving up for something that you think is going to be something of value that you really want, and it's of monetary value. And then you get it and you're like, well, dang, I don't know what else to do. You spent your whole time like saving up for something like that, and then you finally get it and you're like, well, I don't really know what else to do with my life anymore.
Yeah,
so.
ever since I started getting money from this full-time gig, it's been fun to be able to like make a list of all the things that I want to put in my office, or I want to, sorry, I have to burp, but excuse me. There's been so many things that I've loved, looking at to purchase for myself, and it is fun to like add of that collection, but it just, at the end of the day, that's like the only thing I have lately that kind of picks me up is like, and I don't think that's a good thing, actually. I don't think it's good that my pick me up is like wasting money. And I wouldn't say it's wasting necessarily, but it's like, I don't have anything else to do. It's like you said, I didn't need money when we would just go hiking and we would just, go camping or whatever every now and again. But we can't do that right now just because we don't have a lot of time to do those kind of things. So it's weird, man. It's a weird place to be in mentally.
Yeah, I just think part of growing up is really learning like what's important to you, and learning what's worth your time, because like I said, with jobs and everything, $20 is an hour of your life you'll never get back. Mm-hmm. And so when you think of it in that way, and you think of how much you sacrifice to quote unquote succeed in this monetary gain of life, I just think we have so much more to benefit from having real conversations with people and doing real things that mean something other than just sitting down at a desk for 10 hours and, working your life away. I just think there's just so much more to gain than what everyone has told us, our entire lives. Our entire lives have been, go to school, get good grades. All right, high school, go to school, get even better grades. Then, find a good college, spend, 4 to 6 years of your life in college. Then what after that? All right, well then you got to find a job you're willing to spend 40 years of the rest of your life when you're already in your 20s. Mm-hmm. So then by the time you're 60, 65, then you could spend the rest of your life doing something. And by that time, you're old.
Yeah.
And by that time, you don't want to do anything but sit in bed and watch TV. It's just such a weird backwards way of setting people up for life.
And well, that's why I think it's so important that we do, something like this podcast, because though we can't make as much time to go hiking or to go to the beach or, to make our own just free time to do whatever we want, sacrificing the hours to do this is worth it to me because we're actually enjoying it, even though it is taking a toll. Like I have been more tired in these in 2024 than I was for all of 2023 already. But I just think that doing this, even with the sacrifice, there have been times where we had an episode that needed to be done, it wasn't done, and I had to get it done either that night or during the day of upload. And I have had those moments where I'm like, you know what? It's too hard of an edit right now. I'm just going to say F it, and I'm going to just say we'll miss this episode. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll remember, you know what? This is all we got right now. This is this is what we have, and this is what I want to strive for, and this is what I enjoy doing, and I love doing it with you. You know, obviously not to get sappy, but like we've been friends a long time, so to be able to create something with you, especially in media, because we've always been, like I said, we've both been into this format for so long in our lives. I think the sacrifice and the sleepless nights are definitely worth it to do something like this with all of the void and loop that we go through in our day-to-day lives lately.
Yeah, I think having a creative outlet at any point in time is always going to be something good and healthy for someone to go through. And I just think being able to do it with you, someone that I know, I care about, and know that it's something that you also want, I think that just it makes it all the more worth it, you know?
It makes it totally worth it to know that we both want it, you know? Because, and I'm not trying to like completely throw Isaac under the bus, but obviously I wanted to do a podcast with him, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to make episodes of that more often. But Isaac is doing his, I don't know, I don't think it's full time, but like his most of the day job. And on top of that, he's doing school. So like there's even less time to do stuff with him creatively. And so I love the guy, but I just don't think he's willing to sacrifice the hours in order to get stuff like that done. At least not to the progression we're willing to sacrifice. So it's really nice to know that, like, because I think that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted like a partner that that was just as down to get it done as I think I am, you know?
Yeah, finding someone who's on the same wave of dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, and we've been friends for a long time, so it helps that we both know each other so well to do this. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really nice to be able to do this with you, and yeah, and you too, chat. Like I enjoy having you guys here and making it worth it.
That's right.
I've been on YouTube for 10 years now, almost like 9 and something. 9 years and a couple months, but throughout those years, I always, like I said earlier, I've always wanted to succeed at it to the point where I could do it full time. But I got to the point on Piemaster J. For those of you who don't know, chat, that's my YouTube channel that I've run for years now, doing random stupid videos, mostly gaming, but there's been a good assortment of random videos I've done on there too. But throughout the years, I originally did it because I was like, oh, I know all these other YouTubers that are doing it and they're making money off of it. And obviously they're successful. So like, why couldn't I? And it took me too long to realize that it's not that easy. But I've also gotten to a point lately where it's like, it's not really about the fame or the success anymore. It's just that I enjoy doing it. So if I enjoy doing it, do it, you know? I think I noticed that the most with the vlogs. The vlogs were the thing that I thought were going to take the channel off, that were really going to blow up, and they didn't, and that's fine. But what really kept me going on the vlogs was all the stuff that I got to look back on after I made it. Because now I can look back at those vlogs and be like, oh my God, I forgot that we did that. I get to look back at those memories, you know, and that's what I think is going to be fun about this podcast too, is every now and again I'll listen to some of our old episodes and I'll just be like, oh my God, that's right, we talked about that, or oh my gosh, I forgot that we were doing this at that year, or, you know, I love the looking back part of it all, and I think that's what kind of makes it worth it to me, almost more than the idea of Succession, though Succession would be
nice,
really nice,
would be pretty nice. But no, man, I think cheers to just the future and just the future success of the cabin and everything, you know, just surrounding the Woodsman podcast. And all of our big plans that we have for 2024. I just hope it all comes into fruition this year, and yeah, dude, it's just gonna be a great year.
I think
It's
so
gonna
too.
be a great year.
I really want to know where we're going to be at this coming December. I really am super excited to see like what we've done, what we've created, where we'll be at, and I think chat will be really excited to see the progression too.
Very enthused, chat.
I don't know how far we are, but I did have something I wanted to bring to the table for you because I just thought it was a fun tidbit of information that you might also find very interesting. I was talking to my boss.
It would be a shame if I wasn't interested.
I think you will be. I think. Basically, it's nothing crazy. It's just that I was talking to my boss and I was telling him how you got frustrated at me that I went to NAMM and I got to see all the audio stuff and you were just like, I've been trying to get into NAMM for years.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
I was telling him about that and how like you've always been into audio and how you got interested in the soundboard that I showed you, and he told me that like if you ever wanted to like learn on that board specifically, I don't know if it's that board, but it's that brand of board, that they have one at his church, and that if you ever wanted to come practice on it or learn on it, you could come by and do that. And so, I don't know if that's like, it's not like getting you a job, but you know what? If things could go that way, you
that'd
could
be pretty
meet my
sick.
boss. Maybe we could get you an in.
That board's pretty sick too. So
So I thought it would be kind of cool to let you know that. And I do think I'm going to try and talk to him and see if maybe I can, swap your guys' info if you ever want to do that and maybe go meet him and try that out.
Yeah, no, I think that would be awesome. I think, this year has opened a lot of doors for me. This month has opened a lot of doors for me, I went from struggling to survive financially to now having 2 jobs and having 2 locations for 1 job. So, yeah, dude, it's just been a long, ongoing battle with finances that we're finally going past the hump.
Yeah,
so
we're finally getting to the point where we can figure out our shit.
We're in the realm of opportunity, guys. We're in the realm of opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you have anything else, bro.
No, I think I'm good. I just wanted to let you know that was pretty much it.
Well, I think this is a pretty good chat. This is a pretty good chat. We went in with no expectation for this episode, no outline, no anything, and it's just always good to come together with my boy and just
my home dog
and just talk life. So we hope you guys enjoyed this one. I keep looking at a camera that does not exist right now.
Make sure to check out our socials. We don't have that in our cut to thumbnail yet. So please make sure to check out our socials. You can check out me at PieMasterJ.
And you can, you also have another at too.
All I was going to say was the Woodsman. We also have Woodsman Pod now on Instagram. So please go check that out.
Yes, we also have the Woodsman Pod. We have a Gmail.
Yes, we do have a Gmail.
The Woodsman Pod at Gmail or Woodsman Pod at Gmail?
It's the Woodsman Pod at gmail.com.
Yes, so if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you're my mother and want to talk about how much she wants us to not cuss on this, please send in an email.
Yep.
We will get back to you as soon as possible.
We're very small right now. So
I won't guarantee that we will respond very fast, but it's just us running everything. So you'll definitely be getting an email from yours truly.
And I think for right now, I think it would be safe to say that because we're so small, any interaction we get, whether it's on social media,
you
or
will be
Gmail,
mentioned on the show.
We will talk about you on this show. So please keep that in mind.
We have a couple of just different things that we have been workshopping as far as maybe phone calls with some callers. We've been talking Patreon.
We'll have some guests coming pretty soon here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we are very excited for, our first guest. So I hope you guys tune in long enough to see those episodes. It would be nice.
Chat's loyal. They'll be here.
Chat is loyal. Chat is loyal. Well, all right, guys. We're your hosts, Brent Murphy.
And Joey Rucker.
And this has been the Woodsman Podcast. Later, Gators.
The Woodsman Podcast is co-produced by Brent Murphy and Joey Rucker.
Engineered by Brent Murphy and edited by Joey Rucker.
Additional editing by Brent Murphy and blood, sweat, and tears by the both of us.
Any content by the Woodsman Podcast may not be used without our permission.